US, Donald Trump has again reiterated his stance over the targeting of Nigerian Christians by all these Islamic terrorists. Trump said he's not going to allow that to happen. Take a look at this headline. It says, doubling down. President Trump again condemns the killing of Christians in Nigeria, telling reporters, we are not going to allow that to happen. I'm going to allow you to take a look at the video. This is coming after the Nigerian government has tried to say, oh, there is no buying of Christians. But Donald Trump is insisting that the number is unbelievable, that the number of Christians that have gone down by these bad guys is unbelievable, and that he's not going to allow it to happen. This is coming after an EU Parliament member also added his voice, in support of what Trump is doing, that they are not going to allow the Nigerian Christians to suffer, that their rescue is about to happen. Also, Canada has also joined its voice, condemning what is happening in Nigeria. I'm going to allow you to take a look at what Trump told reporters in a video, and then you're also going to watch the Canadian man talking about what is happening in Nigeria. In short, the West is standing up. Nigerians are also happy because we have allowed this to happen for a long time. Some people are saying that, oh, Trump is coming to take Nigeria's resources. Trump is targeting Nigeria's resources. And many people are arguing, if it is taking resources that is going to end this insecurity, then it is justified. Instead of we to be allowing Nigerians to be buyed. But guess what? Trump is just worried about the level and the number of Christians. There's nothing that has to do with, resources that Trump is targeting. He just wants to see the buying to stop. And people have also condemned the Tinubu's government that since this alarm was raised by the US, the Tinubu's government did not come out to say, okay, Trump, this is what we have done. This is what we have done. These are the actions we have taken to stop and prevent these invaders. But it has not worked. Instead, the Nigerian government insisted on pushing back that there's no genocide. While there are a lot of videos circulating on the internet that really happened in Nigeria. Now, take a look at what Trump told reporters, as regards to the situation in Nigeria. Take a look.
They're killing record numbers of Christians in Nigeria. And they have other countries very bad also. You know that part of the world, very bad. They're killing the Christians and killing them in very large numbers. We're not going to allow that to happen.
Mr. Speaker, I rise today to bring attention to the tragedy Christians in Nigeria are experiencing. The deadly terrorist organization Boko Haram is trying to eliminate the Christian faith from Nigeria. This is the same terrorist group that kidnapped dozens of young schoolgirls and burned innocent civilians alive in cages. According to reports, over 3.5 million people have been forced to flee their homes. 3 churches are destroyed every single day. 7,000 Christians were massacred this year alone, and the faithful must now meet in secret or in burnt-out sanctuaries. Sadly, the world is turning a blind eye to the plight of Christians in Nigeria. There are no embedded journalists covering the violence. There are not daily updates. Politicians around the world are not asked questions about how they will respond. We cannot ignore this violence and tragic loss of life. We must speak out and shine a light on what's happening so that people can donate to relief efforts and provide support to those displaced by violence. To my brothers and sisters in Christ, we know you know the power of prayer. We will not forget you. Stay strong. Keep the faith.
That is my take for today, entitled How Nigeria Can Avoid U.S. Sanctions on the Killings. I have a few points. The first is that Christians, including myself, have seen a pattern of killings, which strongly suggests that people are being killed for reasons related to their faith. There is no point denying that. Now, I was one of the brains behind the Christian Association of Nigerians in America, in the United States, around 2012, and I personally related with several of such Christians in the northern part of Nigeria, especially, whose relatives have been killed because they were Christians. At least those were the words spoken to the victims by their murderers before killing them, most of the times in the presence of their children and their wives. There are tons of examples like that. Let me show you one of those. See this video.
Say, it's okay. Are you a Christian? I say, yes, I'm a Christian. Say, Habila, why we are preaching the Islamic way of gospel to you? You refuse to accept Islam. And I told them that I am a Christian. I am a Christian. Say, Habila, you can deny your faith in order to be safe. I say, no. I am a Christian. Say, Habila, do you mean you are ready to die as a Christian? I say, yes, I am ready to die as a Christian. One of them tried to fire me. The leader stopped him. Say, Habila, you are a good man. We know your history. Habila, you have opportunity to live. Only if you can deny your faith. We can leave you, you can live. I say, no. I cannot deny my faith. I am a Christian. Say, Habila, I will give you last chance. Are you ready to die as a Christian? I say, yes, I'm ready to die as a Christian. Before I close my mouth, one of them fired me through my nose. This is the entering place of the bullet, where the bullet entered through my nose. Yeah, this is the exit place of the bullet, where the bullets came out.
But it is, and some of those very strong statements from the US president, because you will recall that this thing has been going on, the advocacy from Nigerians in the US to get the US government involved in this matter has been going on forever. We have never gotten to the point that a US president will come out as strongly as Mr. Trump has done. Can you fill us in on what changed in the dynamics? Emmanuel.
Okay. Yes. Well, first of all, let me point out that I was involved in the drafting or advocacy for the passing of this bill about 28 years ago. And at that time, we were looking at countries like Sudan. We did not realize that many, many years afterwards, Nigeria's situation will be bad enough to warrant designation. Now, that said, let's be clear. President Trump had actually called out Nigeria face to face with Buhari in 2018 when they met. The difference is Trump asked him nicely, stop the killing of Christians in Nigeria. It was direct engagement. And afterwards, they went back into the White House and they signed a trade agreement. So Trump was able to engage with him to resolve this issue and still do business with him. What has happened? After Trump left, the Democrats came in and they completely stopped an evaluation of Nigeria. And so, of course, when Trump came back, the situation had worsened since the last time that, he complained about it 7 years ago. And unfortunately, instead of addressing the issue, the Nigerian government started denying the facts. You see, when you are accused of stealing the goat meat, your response should not be, who would have stolen that kind of salty meat anyway? Because by your response, you admitted guilt. The Nigerian government, instead of saying, look, we are addressing the issue, this is what we have done, they say, it's not only Christians who are being killed, others are being killed. That is an admission of state failure. And this is why we are where we are now on this issue. But let me point out something very important. Trump has announced the designation, but then the next phase is sanctions. And I want to be clear that the first time sanctions were waived, and this time around it's not too late to waive sanctions. Now, let me just reassure listeners about the threat of military action. Laolu, you were the one as bureau chief of Guardian here in the US who reported exclusively that the US military set up a base in Niger that was covering terrorism in Nigeria. You were the only one in the world to report it. Guess what? Those two bases that America had in Niger are now lost. They were closed after the coup. So America has lost its footprint in West Africa to conduct special operations. So what that has resulted in is that Boko Haram has actually increased its operational footprint and pathology. So the situation is worse. And I have to tell you this, I do not believe that President Trump is going to unleash any attacks on Nigeria for two reasons. One, historically, the US military has been reluctant to fight side by side with the Nigerian government because they don't trust the Nigerian military. And one specific example is when they got intelligence on the location of the Chibok girls in the forest, they were cooperating with the Nigerian army under direction of President Obama. So the US government told the Nigerian army that they would gas the camp where Boko Haram was with the girls and then knock everybody out so that they could rescue the girls safely without exchange of gunfire. After they mapped out this plan, the next thing that happened, when the troops got to the camp of Boko Haram, they saw Boko Haram wearing gas masks. So the US realized that the Nigerian military had leaked the operational details to Boko Haram. This is why the US does not want to work directly with Nigeria with boots on the ground, because they do not trust the Nigerian army. Now, here is what we could be concerned of, and here is what I believe Trump was referring to. An American was abducted in Niger and was brought by the Fulani Islamist terrorists to Nigeria as they were about to sell him to Boko Haram. That was during the Trump first term. So Trump sent US Special Forces to Nigeria to go and rescue them. But to show you the level of cooperation between the US and Nigeria, Taj Patel then was the one who was to liaise with Nigeria and give Nigeria information that US troops were coming into their airspace. They literally stopped the SEAL team while they were in the air until they got clearance from Nigeria to enter Nigeria's airspace. They arrived in Sokoto, they killed the 6 Fulani terrorists who had abducted the American citizen. They captured one and handed him to the police, and then they flew back with their citizen. What happened then? Trump came and announced it, that we have just recovered Philip Walton in an operation who had been abducted. So why am I giving you this background? A few days ago, another American was abducted in Niger. And what Trump is saying, in effect, is that if this guy ends up being brought to Nigeria again by these Fulanis who abducted him, I will take action. So the likelihood, what he might mean, is that the location where this boy is found will be held liable. So my advice to whoever is in touch with these people, I know that Nigeria's NSA has been involved in ransoming people from Fulani bandits. Let that American that ride out be found and returned peacefully so that there will be no problem.
Well, let's just, for the sake of objectivity and balance, let's say that what you just said about the NSA is an allegation because that office has denied, ransom taking, since it's not here to give a response. But to take your question to the next level, you also will recall, Mr. Ogebe, that it was the first presidency of Mr. Donald Trump that actually facilitated the sales of the military to Kanos to Nigeria, which was prevented before it got there. So clearly, I also don't think that Mr. Trump is playing games. And like you have said, he had also raised this issue informally with the former president. And so it's not as if he's just coming to the issue for the first time. So I wanted to ask you the next question, that what do you say, with this background, what do you say to the conspiracy theorists who argue that the Americans are only interested in the resources in Nigeria, particularly the solid minerals, the lithiums, and all the other stuff that they are in they have a significant need of? What's your response? You are there in Washington, D.C., Emmanuel.
Well, the funny thing is that the United States has more oil reserves than Nigeria. Secondly, President Jonathan told me himself that Nigerian oil is being smuggled into the US, and that he appealed to President Obama to help him investigate and stop the oil bunkering that was illegally going into the US. Now, of course, you know that the US has signed an agreement with Ukraine to have access to their earth minerals. Nigeria is not that critically needed by the US for the US to waste military manpower and resources to take over Nigeria. That is arrant nonsense. Our leaders in Nigeria are already stealing money from Nigeria and bringing to the West and buying houses. So they don't need to do that. But let me make something very clear. And the issue here is this, okay? When we're talking about foreign intervention in Nigeria, let us look at the facts. The people in Northwest Nigeria invited Lakawura, a terrorist group, to come into Nigeria and assist them in fighting bandits, only for Lakawura to come in and become bandits themselves. Let's remember that El Rufai, a sitting governor, said that he traveled out of the country to go and pay off the Fulanis who are attacking Nigeria. And we saw what happened. They ended up moving into Nigeria and creating a terrorist syndicate nationwide. Let's remember that Buhari himself brought in Fulanis in the hopes of, destabilizing the country if he did not win the elections. So when you look at all that has been done by the other side, it's unfortunate if somebody now comes to you and says, try and save your own people from being killed. And you, as a government who have admitted that these are foreigners who are coming in and killing you, are beginning to insult the person that, no, it's not just Muslim Christians they're killing, it's Muslims too. Let me point out something else that's very important to note. Trump has said that he may stop aid to Nigeria. And here's the thing. Remember that Obama and co at a point tried to leverage their aid to say Nigeria must introduce and accept same-sex marriage and so on and so forth. And, Nigerians were upset with them doing that. This time around, it's a very different situation. He's saying, try and stop the killings of your own citizens. So it's not a question of their imposing Western ideologies and theories on Africa. It's a question of saying, save your own lives and value your own lives. So I think, everyone should be rest assured that we will not see a military escalation, but we should certainly at this time begin to take aggressive steps to engage. The sanctions can be waived. The federal government should set up a response team and bring in knowledgeable people like yourself. You were in the US, you know this issue. Bring in Kuka, bring in, knowledgeable people. Let's sit down and come up with a roadmap on how to avert sanctions.
Okay, thank you, Emmanuel. So let's talk about, in your own view, whether we need to have some kind of rallying together of all Nigerians on this matter. Because part of the problem is that you have quite a number of people in our population saying that, what about the Muslims that are also being killed? Some will even come up with a claim that, look, more Muslims are actually dying from the killings, a lot of killings going on in the country. So, in your view, Emmanuel, how can we, pull ourselves together and say that, look, let us treat this as a national concern, as a national emergency, and not something that is meant to divide us like Christians here and Muslims there. What's your counsel?
Yeah, so the issue is very, very straightforward. And anybody who denies that Christians have been a central target and focus of the genocide is allergic to the truth. And you shouldn't play politics with the blood of martyrs, with the blood of God's children. That is unacceptable. Now, here's the fact of the matter. We, as at November 1st, 10 people have already been killed in Plateau State, all of them Christians. First day of November, okay? The week before, 12 were killed in Plateau State, all of them Christians. Let us not deny the obvious. What we're saying is no single person should be killed. But we have a situation where Christians are the primary targets and Muslims are collateral damage. We have terror groups in Nigeria who fight over whether they should kill Christians alone or whether they should kill Christians and Muslims who oppose them or who refuse to join them. Let me mention, something very important. The Nigerian government wanted to send a team to the US to meet with the US Congress. But let me tell you what happened to the last team that came in September. When they got to the US and went to Congress, they were presented a position paper from the US Congress, and they went back. They had the chance to present that paper to the House, debate it, and come up with a response. Nothing happened. When they went to the UK, they told the UK, oh, there's no targeting of Christians. This is just general banditry. Do you know what the members of the UK asked them? One question, and they kept silent. They said, if it is simply just criminality, what about the case of Leah Sharubi? 110 girls were taken from Dapchi. The government of Nigeria negotiated their release. All the Muslim girls were released. Only Leah, the only Christian, was kept behind. How can you say that is purely criminality? So let us not play games. Let me point out that the CPC designation is not only focused on Christian persecution. It involves persecution of Muslims as well. That is why one of the key issues that was raised by Ted Cruz was the blasphemy law. We have two Muslims who are, one is on death row and one is on life imprisonment because of debates that they had with people, and they were now condemned as having perpetrated blasphemy and apostasy, and they've been sentenced. These are victims of religious extremism and intolerance. But even with this case of these Muslims who went through this legal process, compare that to Deborah Emmanuel, who I'm showing on this T-shirt. Deborah was a Christian. If they were offended by her remarks, he could have been tried like the Muslims. He wasn't. She was burnt alive. And the people who did it showed their faces on camera, and nothing has happened to them. So we as a country to set up a response, but most importantly, the National Assembly should begin a hearing on the state of religious persecution in Nigeria. And let Nigerians ventilate their grievances, and let this administration address it. I believe that President Tinubu is a political engineer. For him to have overcome all the obstacles he had to achieve this position, he's somebody who is very savvy, and he has the opportunity to resolve it. We want Christianity and Islam in northern Nigeria to be like Christianity and Islam in southwest Nigeria. And if Tinubu cannot do it, somebody who is married to a redeemed pastor, then there's no hope for Nigeria.
Thank you so much, Emmanuel Gebe. And I share that view entirely with you, that the president is specially positioned to solve this matter just by the point that you've raised, and the fact that in the Southwest, you know, you have the best model of Christians and Muslims and all other
anywhere in the world. The
know,
Southwest is an example of religious tolerance anywhere in the world.
Yeah. So Mr. President is positioned to actually solve this problem. I'm going to give you one more minute. Can you tell us, so how was this reflected, or is going to be reflected at the International Prayer Day? Please, 1 minute.
Yes. Well, around the world, today is marking the International Day of Prayer for the Persecuted. And here in the DC area, we're going out to pray for Nigerians in particular. And I know that on December 1, I believe, Nigerians are gathering outside the White House to also protest in honor of people who have died. Let me just mention that on Sunday last week, we buried a Nigerian Christian from Yobe who survived the genocidal attacks of 2012. But he lost 3 sons who were killed by Boko Haram that day. One man. And last week he died and was just buried on Sunday. So we are continuing to see parents of people who died themselves dying. So the collateral effects of the terrorist attack is having second, third, and fourth repercussions. And this is why it needs to be taken seriously.
It's also true that non-Christians, and more specifically, several Muslims, have also been victims of these killings. Some accounts even say that there are more Muslim victims, as a matter of fact. So the point is that both Christians and Muslims are victims of these egregious killings that is happening in our country and that's been going on for far too long. This is not a problem of today. We must say that. It's a problem that has been going on for at least more than a decade. Despicable killings in several parts of this country. Okay? And so there are different reasons why people are being killed. And there are different motivations. So we shouldn't be frozen in an argument whether these are Christian killings or whether these are Muslim killings. What is important is these are Nigerians who are being killed on a continuous basis for no just cause. Therefore, we should try to work together, all Nigerians, both in government and those that are outside government. We should work together on how we can bring an end to these dastardly acts of violence that is taking people's lives without a cause and rather wickedly. I concede that we need to play down the divisive rhetoric. We really don't need to be divided over this matter. Christians believe that there are people that are being killed among their community for their faith. There is evidence to back that. There's also evidence to back the fact that there are non-Christians who are also being killed. And so we can build a consensus around the fact that Nigerians are being killed. And in my mind, that is the first thing that the federal government ought to do, namely to rally all of us behind the fact that we must together do everything we can do to end these killings, regardless of the motivations behind those killings. Let me say that again. We have to act as a people and our government together to end all these killings, regardless of the motivations. These killings are wrongful acts, they are violent behaviors, and they are acts of wickedness in whatever shape or form. And all of us can agree on that. We can agree on the fact that these are very wicked actions by the fact that they are Nigerians that are being killed and that their lives are being treated with levity. And so the federal government should give the security agencies the marching orders to compel peace and end the violence all across the country. The President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, should announce drastic measures in line with what, by the way, he seems to have started when he told the new service chiefs in the villa on Thursday that Nigerians won't take excuses anymore. Mr. President, you cannot be more right. Nigerians no longer want the excuse. And so, Mr. President, you should insist and you should give the security chiefs timelines to deliver. The federal government should end all the contradictory, conciliatory approaches with terrorists and bandits, which give an impression that they are being treated with kid gloves. We can start by demanding that those who among the terrorists and the bandits who want to put down their weapons and pursue peace can do so now. A timeline can be given them to do that. And after that, we should have an all-out onslaught against these purveyors of evil. If the federal government can set on this line of action, then all of us will join the chorus and ask the Americans to observe the changes in the way we are dealing with the killings. And as a matter of fact, tell the whole world that it has come to an end and we are ending it. This is the urgent task that the president should lead. And we can act now. The president can lead us. The security agencies can follow suit. The Nigerian people, whether Christians or Muslims, or regardless of age, status, or background, we can all come together and say enough is enough to these very wicked killings. And so this is how we can prevent any kind of diplomatic or punitive measures from the Americans or from anywhere in the world against us as a government and as a people. The Americans seem bent on taking some action. There are senators, there are congressmen, people in different spheres of life who have decided to give what is happening in Nigeria a particular coloration. We can end the killings now. Let us do it now. And yes, we can. There you have it. Inside Sources. We'll be right back.
The latest of what is happening on the social media is that the Tinubu's planned trip to the United States to meet the vice president has been aborted. So, as it stands now, Tinubu will no longer be visiting the United States. Instead, he is going to be meeting Trump during the G20 in South Africa. Now, let me take you through this headline. It says, breaking, Tinubu's U.S. trip aborted to attend G20 meeting in South Africa, discuss with Trump. So Tinubu is going to be meeting with Trump and discuss with him. And let's take you through some of the reactions. This person is a disgraced president of a disgraced country. This person will no congratulate Trump. One, come meet him for favor. Make it make sense. Person that didn't congratulate Trump. I just did listen to their political rudents issue statement or updates up and down. If Tinubu set foot on the U.S. ground, forget it. He won't come back. Question, what actually did Trump commit in U.S.? What actually did Tinubu This person say it's now showing clearly about Sowore and his Sahara reporter collab with Tinubu for their recent report support evil against U.S. intervention. Wetin he won't go talk for there before? Bulaba, smart man. Wetin won't go talk? What is he going to tell Trump? He should continue jumping up and down. The next tweet from Trump will be the safe arrival of B-Spirit bomber after a successful operation. Nabuala made this smart statement on his own. In fact, in the coming days, they will sack him for saying what the presidency didn't approve. This person is saying that Bola Dane said what he said on his own, that he will soon be sacked. This person said, you wanted Tinubu to go face J.D. Vance and the U.S. media. How could that have been Tinubu, the mic leaker? Honestly, he just saved himself the obvious world embarrassment. Honestly, I think so too. This person said, you see Trump, he don't forgive. My friend in U.S. Army said they are preparing to send some terrorists to hell in Nigeria. Trump is saying that ground operation, airstrikes could be part of U.S. attack in Nigeria. That ground operation and airstrike is what they're planning to use in Nigeria. And this other person say, make person no go enter behind bars. Tinubu shouldn't be arrested. And this imagine we got the Peter Obi we voted for massively. All Nigerians would have been living in peace and security since he would have been able, he would never gamble with human lives. Imagine our honor of Trump having him. Imagine the honor of Trump having him, sir, with him discussing serious diplomatic issues, not playing hanky-panky. I think this makes sense, you know. It's when Tinubu, if he had gone to US, J.D. Vance will use them, do Kilishi. Why now? J.D. Vance will use and do Kilishi. This was the same. No, when VDM was speaking nonsense, I waited for this. Tinubu travel where Trump no one see the man that did not that didn't do anything since Nigeria. Since Nigerians have been crying, he didn't. He didn't do nothing since U.S. senators were speaking up. As soon as Trump talk, he won't go where? He won't go collect. This person say, do we really need external interference because our politicians will statutorily work? Our president, together with Buhari, went to U.S. to file a petition against Jonathan about insecurity in the country. Then it reaches its turn. Viola, there is no insecurity. You see, America pours speed for Presido I. Hey, so guys, there are some reactions here. I don't even know how to like take it. See then they use Sheyi Papa mop floor. Omo, we miss Obasanjo. US would have been the best place to discuss with Trump. Hey, this person said, Tinubu traveled to the US. All of you must be joking. The US government has all his criminal record, and it won't be funny if narco thief takes such a reckless risk. He can run only for a while. Jesus. They just informed him that DJ the Parapas Pontus. Oh my God. DJ Vance the Parapas Pontus. This man is saying, Ona no just get sense at all. See, as Ona people, they badmouth on a president in country. I've never seen a generation of youth so unpatriotic like Nigerian youth. Wahala dey. This person say they just inform him that DJ Vance that means DJ Vance is even more mad than Trump. It's better Trump handles you than DJ Vance. And this one say, you see what APC has given us and the embarrassment. Common meeting. Only our 001 they fear. Election has consequences. Our president they fear. If I talk, person wey no fit face Rufai Hussaini or even his own TVC, one carry lamba go meet Trump. So guys, I don't know what you make. Nigerians are really making fun of Tinubu. That is because the US cannot allow him to go into the country. That's why they are now pushing him to South Africa for him to meet Trump there. So guys, a whole lot is happening. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Now take a look.